my strokes, screw-ups, my mess-ups, because he's already prepared for what I might do. He knows what I'm going to do before I do it, and he already made preparation for me before I get there. What follows darkness is light. That darkness is the indicator that light is getting ready to shine. So there it is in Genesis, when darkness was upon the face of the deep, and God in the spirit form moved upon the face of the water, and then God said, let there be. Because darkness precedes the light. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But he needs the darkness there so that God can move upon the face of the deep, so that the shift can take place. Listen, look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor that shift take place in the darkness. Oh my God, you hear what I just said? Everybody's not going to see the shift that's happening. They see the chaos, but they don't see the shift. They see all the craziness going on in your life, but they don't understand that underneath the darkness, God is moving in secret. He's moving in quiet. He's moving in the hidden places. He's moving in the cracks and the corners and the crevices. He's moving in places that you cannot see. And when the light comes, they're going to see a new order. Afraid to dream, afraid to imagine. But I'm here to tell you that you are an infinite, limitless, boundless being. Are you willing to do what is necessary to have what you desire?
Thank you for joining us. Please take a moment and like the Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube page and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. If you are finding value in these enrichment sessions, please consider supporting this page financially. Your donations allow us to continue to provide spiritual enlightenment, self-exploration, and kingdom knowledge. Also, consider becoming a partner because partnerships have this privilege. As a partner, you'll be able to attend our annual Partners Only Summer Summit, join us for our 6 a.m. virtual daily guided meditation sessions, weekly advanced empowerment sessions, regular prophetic insights and instructions, 30% discount on all Emerge books and merchandise, and a custom Emerge t-shirt. You'll also gain full access to the private Emerge Movement community page as well as group chats. Once again, thank you for watching.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Emerge Empowerment Session. I am so glad that you have chosen to join us this morning and be a part of this conscious conversation. You just tuned in to one of the most powerful places on the planet. I'm your host, Isaac J. Miles Sr., and I am so glad you are here today. I'm ecstatic as we get into our topic for today, what's coming, a prophetic look forward, part 3. I know that this has been a long conversation, but there's so much information that I want to get out. I appreciate all of you that are watching all across every platform. Those of you who are watching me somebody told me I can't say the terms of these other platforms on certain platforms because then they'll try and slow down the reach of me on that platform. I don't know how true that is or not, but anyway, those of you who are watching across all platforms, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. There are a few housekeeping things that I need for you to do for me before we get into our conscious conversation this morning. Number one, I need everybody to help me to broaden the reach of this platform by sharing and reposting this live broadcast. Go ahead and share it right now, regardless to which platform you're watching me on. Hit the share button, share it to your group chat, share it to your family and friends, share it to all of the people that are following you or on your friends list. Go into the comments and hit @follow or there we are. We're back. I got you. I got you. All right. Then here's the second thing I need for you to do. I need you to hit the like button. I'm trying to get as many likes on these live videos as I possibly can. So I need you to heart it up for me. Double tap the screen over here. Hit the like and share button over here. Let's help to broaden the reach of this particular platform. And then tag as many people as you can. Tag them in the comments, invite them to come, talk about it with them, encourage them to get involved in this conscious conversation and to take a look and take a listen to what's going to take place today. I appreciate your support, each and every single one of you. Thank you for being here. Now, we have been in the midst of a dramatic shift in the paradigm. And we explained this in part 1, what a paradigm shift is. It is a change of mode of operation, a change across all of the spectrums or all the mountains of influence that influence the global society around the world. There is a dramatic revolution taking place. And each of us are making individual choices, as well as now we are part of the collective choice of the global community about what direction we're going to move in, whether we choose to evolve forward or devolve backwards. And unfortunately, in some cases, like here in the United States, we have made some choices as a collective to devolve by electing I call him Agent Orange, some individual that has only one vision and goal, and that is to take us backwards and to promote grievance and vengeance and to be a tyrannical wannabe dictator. But other countries around the world are making better choices that will lead to the development and the revolutionary growth and evolution of their particular country. As a global society, this is what the mission of this particular platform is, and for this conversation, is to try and bring us all to a place of agreement that we want to see the entire global community evolve and grow and give way to the energy of love and peace and joy and unity and inclusivity around the globe. And so that's what we want to see happen. And I believe that as a collective, we can bring that about if we all can just get on the same page. We don't all have to agree on everything across every subject. We simply need to agree that we want our world to be a better place, a place of love and peace and joy, inclusivity, unity, and fellowship, that we want to see our everyone being treated with the dignity of humanity. Okay? Now, how we get there, we may disagree a little bit about some of the social and economic issues that need to be addressed and how we address them. Or political issues, but we can agree that the end goal is the same. And so if we can all agree to that, then we can all work together and find a way to work together to get us to that place. Okay. Hello, Khadija. It's good to see you. Stay cool. Mary Knapp, DDS, Larry, good to see you. Carolyn, Grist, Robert. All of you that are coming in right now over on TikTok, thank you so much for joining me. They're great there. I said the name of the platform. I hope that these others don't punish me for using the name of the platform. All right. So what I want to deal with today is a little bit more about what I have discovered, what I have learned and received while in my time of prayer and meditation and communion with all of everything, the divine spirit of God that lives in us, through us, as us, around us. I want to share a little bit of the insight, prophetic, clairvoyant, psychic insight that I've received about some things that we can expect in these coming years, especially over these next 20 years. As we discussed in our very first live on this subject, that because of the movement, the planetary movement, where Pluto is now settling itself in Aquarius, almost completely in place, and will be settled there for the next 20 years. That'll take place November the 19th. We're almost there. Today's the 17th. So in a couple of days, Pluto will be completely settled and immersed in Aquarius. And that energy will remain with us because it will remain in place for the next 20 years, up until the year 2044. And so the choices and decisions that we make right now, individually as well as collectively, are what is going to set the flow and set the direction that our lives will take as a collective society or as individuals for the next 20 years. You are creating the flow of your life. You are determining what your life's going to look like. You are determining what your opportunities are going to be. You are making a decision today that is going to manifest its effect over the next 20 years of your life. So it's important that you be intentional, deliberate, that you're very strategic. Each one of us are very strategic about the decisions and choices that we make, because you are setting and beginning and initiating a flow in your life that it's not that you can't turn it around in these next 20 years, but it will be extremely difficult should you happen to either choose to move in a wrong or ineffective, disempowering way, or should you unconsciously make the choice because you simply consciously decided not to do anything. It's not that you can't turn it around somewhere midstream, like in 5 years or 6 years, but it will be extremely difficult because once the current is set, now turning it means that you have to turn and swim against the energy of the current that you set in motion. And so the change in direction, change of outlook, change of perception is going to be a lot more challenging. It's better that you set the course strategically, intentionally, and deliberately now so that you can begin to manifest, cultivate, create, and curate your highest vision and version of your life. You ultimately are the progenitor of what your future is going to look like. You are the one who is in control of your life. And I hear some of you already, thinking or saying out loud, no, God is in control. Well, that's what I said. God is not some old man sitting on a cloud in the sky who sits high and looks low. God is an ever-present spirit that lives in you, through you, and as you. God is manifesting itself uniquely as you. You are the divine expression of the all of everything in the earth realm. And so when you speak, when you act, when you make choices and decisions, your choices, decisions, and words are powerful. They are omnipotently powerful. They are powerful. So it's very important that we are careful and deliberate and intentional about what we say, what we think, and how we choose to move. And I don't want to get bogged down there because I've done whole lives on that one topic already. So I want to keep moving because we've got a lot of ground to cover. I can tell you again, there will be a part 4, which will be the final part of this particular series because I'm going to cover a great deal of ground today. I intend to, in the next, how much time do I have left? Great day. 45 minutes. So now I got to move even quicker. I need you to listen fast. Keep double tapping that screen over there, y'all. I'm not getting the hearts that I need over there. I need those likes to get up to at least 10,000 or more. So I need everybody watching me over here to double tap that screen as you come in and continue to share and invite others to come and be a part of the conversation. All right, so let's take a look forward prophetically about some of the things that we can expect to see over these next 20 years. I've already talked a little bit about some of the technological advances where AI and AR is concerned. I want you to also pay attention to the weather. That we've already seen some extreme weather patterns take place and weather events take place, but I'm here to tell you that we're going to see even more of them in some of the most unusual places. You can write this down and mark it that I said so, that we're going to begin to see extreme weather events take place over these next 20 years because the climate, the entire earth is shifting along with the atmosphere and all of humanity. As humanity shifts, so goes the earth. And I'm not just talking about climate change because, of course, that definitely plays a role, and global warming, all of that plays a role. But I'm talking about dramatic shifts in nature, even where wildlife is concerned. Watch the migration patterns of all of the animals around the globe. You're going to begin to see their migration patterns change and shift due in part to climate change, but also because of the global shifting in this climate where the world and the earth is concerned. So animal migration and mating patterns are going to become more evident, more pronounced, and extremely different from what they have normally done. I'm talking about to the level where it baffles those who scientifically study these things. They're going to be in awe and wonder at some of the dramatic shift in animal migration and in their the mating practices and patterns that they would normally follow. You're going to see the same thing happen with all of the plant life as well. Plant life is about to go through a dramatic shift and change on this planet that we call Earth, the third rock from the sun. We're going to see the patterns in the ecosystem begin to shift dramatically to the place where it is going to baffle even some of the most prolific scientists, climate and agricultural scientists, because of what they're going to begin to observe. And we're going to see a period of time where the harvest time and the seed time are going to overlap. Are you hearing what I'm saying? There's a text in a principle in the Bible that says, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest will never cease. That is absolutely true. And right now, our seasons are still somewhat distinguishable between, summer, winter, spring, fall, seed time, and harvest time. But I'm telling you that over the course of these next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see a period of time where seed time and harvest time overlap each other dramatically, and that being able to distinguish the differences in the seasons are going to be even more difficult because they're going to so closely resemble each other, and the shifts are going to be so dramatic. And I know that many of you, especially if you live in Florida and other places like that, because I'm originally from Florida, we used to always say that if you don't like the weather in Florida, just hang around for about 10 minutes and it'll change. Okay. But I'm telling you that that is going to be the case across the entire global community, not just in the United States. I need for you to think bigger than the United States, but we're going to see this happening around the globe, where the climate and the environment will shift so dramatically and so quickly and so often that it will make distinguishing the seasons a challenge, and understanding that harvest time and seed time will overlap each other for long periods of time. Now you're saying, well, okay, so what? What does that mean for me? Well, that has an effect on the economy. It has an effect on agriculture and our food system. It has an effect on our physical health. It has an effect on our mental health. There are scientific studies that show that the people who have the most mental health challenges are those who live in Alaska, mainly because they deal with these dramatic shifts in times of almost 6 months of night and 6 months of day at one time. And so they struggle because there is this overlapping of the seasons and the times and the days and the nights. What happens when what's taking place in Alaska begins to happen globally? And it's not solely because of the planetary positioning of the Earth, but because of the dramatic shifting of the Earth as it spins upon its axis. We're going to see some dramatic changes in weather patterns and climate. Not only so, and I'm saving for my very last video on this subject, which will be part 4, I want to talk a little bit about what's taking place spiritually in the spiritual community around the world, and some things that you'll be able to expect. But there will be drastic changes. There's already a huge migration and exodus away from institutionalized religions. People are beginning to exit and walk away from Christianity, from Islam, from Buddhism, from Hinduism, from Taoism, from all of these isms, and in just fully embracing their own brand of spirituality. And the thing about being a spiritual person is there is no one definition that makes you spiritual. Nobody can tell you how to relate to the divine that lives within you. No one can define or determine what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong as it relates to your spiritual growth and development. I don't want to get too deep into it. That's going to be part 4. But let me tell you that more and more people are going through what I call a great awakening and starting to recognize that the other man-made traditional religions no longer serve their highest good. That doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make them evil. It simply means that they have served their purpose, and now people are evolving away from them and beginning to shift towards something that is more aligned with their spiritual growth, development, and their highest vision and version of their life. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because here's the one that I really want to dig deep into today, and that is the economics. So everybody's been talking a lot about what's happening in the economy. Most of the people here in America are just focused on the American economy and not realizing that we're part of a global community, and so therefore it is not just the American economy that will affect your life, but the global economy as well. And there are some drastic changes that are about to take place in the global economy that will affect how you as an American, you as a person who's in Europe or Asia or Australia or in other parts of the globe are going to transact business, and how you're going to deal with currency and the cost of goods and services. I'm afraid that those of you who are in the United States are in for a rude awakening, because if the newly elected president follows through on the economic policies that he has been touting and proposing, like tariffs and tax cuts for those who are in the 1% and others like that, if he indeed follows through, and it looks like he's given every indication that he will, then you have not even began to feel the economic pain that you are going to feel as inflation shoots up and prices increase. Also, the decision to become an isolationist will then now cause other economies and governments around the world to move away from the United States. Is their dependency upon the United States, their confidence in the United States. And that will also set off a war, especially when you start imposing tariffs on goods and services. Then it's going to set off an economic war that will ultimately raise prices. What most people don't understand, and this is not the prophetic end of it, this is just economics 101. A tariff is a tax on the consumer. That is simply a economic fact. A tariff is a tax on the consumer. Who do you think pays the tariff? The tariff is launched against that other international community or company. They then now have to raise their prices of their goods that they're going to sell and services to the United States, who the corporations here are not going to eat that loss. So they in turn will raise the prices of their goods and services to the consumer. And who ultimately ends up paying for the tariff? You got it, the consumer. You and I, who live in the country that initiates the tariff. Okay? That's just economics 101. That's a fact. The truth of the matter is that companies, whether here in the United States or around the globe, are not going to decrease their profit margin in order to make things better for the consumer. Corporations are designed to do one thing: make money. That's the capitalistic way. That's capitalism. It's all about making money. They're not trying to make the world a better place. They're not trying to make your life easier. They're not trying to improve the quality of your life. They are trying to make money. And if, as a residual effect, you happen to see some improvement in your life or community, then okay, that's a bonus that they can tout and use as advertisement. But trust and believe their entire focus and intent is to make more and more money. That's all that there is. Okay. So consequently, they are not going to eat any tariff that is imposed by the United States government. It's just not going to happen. And, cutting their taxes here in the United States, cutting these corporate taxes, capital gains tax, and the corporate, the top income earners taxes down is not going to cause them to reinvest in the community or in the general public. How many times have you seen a CEO that got a multi-million-dollar bonus of 100 million, 300 million, 500 million dollars and say, oh, no. I want to take that and divide it amongst the working class, those who make the corporation go. I'll tell you how many. Never. Okay. That's just not the way the American economy works. And that's not where the heart of mankind is at this point, unfortunately. Excuse me a second. Ginger lemon tea this morning. Ginger lemon. And good for you. All right. But what you will see, and here's the prophetic end of it. If you are not familiar with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and all of the other types of currency, digital currencies that are out there, you need to familiarize yourself with them, at least learn the basics, even if you don't get into the intricate details of it, because you're going to see a move toward digital currency globally. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I wrote something down, okay? That you are going to see a wider adoption of digital currency in day-to-day transactions, with central banks testing digital versions, national versions, and international versions of digital currency. So if you are not familiar with cryptocurrency and other digital currencies that are out there, I encourage you to make yourself familiar. Now, this can be a little bit encouraging, exciting, but it can also be a little bit frightening, especially for those who have a religious bent and have, read some of the prophecies about a one world government, one world currency, the mark of the beast, and other things of this sort, and where no one was able to buy or sell unless they had the mark, that they could, it can be a little bit scary for you. I'm going to try and demystify it if I can, because you don't need to be afraid, but you do need to be aware. Ooh, that's a bar. Let me say that again. You don't need to be afraid, but you do need to be aware of what's taking place. Okay? That's a bar. Don't be afraid. We don't work, operate, move, live in fear, but do be aware. That means to educate yourself, to be intelligent about what's taking place so that you can prepare. Be ready beforehand and make sure that you are settled in a place where the shift in the global economy and in the currency, the world currency, serves your highest good and does not put you in a position where that you are disadvantaged and disempowered. So, as I said, we're going to see a wider adoption of digital currencies in our day-to-day lives and transactions, with central banks that will be testing digital versions of national currencies and international currencies as well. There is a move toward exploring international digital currencies as well as national currencies. Primarily, this move is driven by the governments and other global organizations. Here's a simple breakdown. And let me just try and break it down for you. The central bank digital currency, that's called the CBDC, central bank digital currency, many countries are developing and testing digital versions of their national currencies, such as the dollar or the euro or the yen, that they are testing it right now. Listen to what I just said. They are testing a national digital currency right now. I am telling you that they are moving in that direction with an eye on making it an international, that is coming to an agreement around an international digital currency, a one world digital currency that everyone, starting out with banks and other larger corporations, but then trickling down to the global society, will become accustomed to and begin to use, that will make national currencies almost obsolete. I am predicting that these countries will hold on to their national currencies for other smaller transactions and purchases and uses within their countries to give them a feeling of some exclusivity, but that overall there will be the development of an international digital currency that everyone across the globe is going to use. These are official government-backed digital currencies that function like cash and are entirely digital. They are working on developing these nationally right now as we speak, and with an eye on developing an international currency that will follow, digital currency that will follow. Current international money transfers are extremely slow and costly and complex. Those of you who do Forex trading or day trading, you understand how slowly those transactions work, but it is profitable for those of us who do digital Forex trading and do day trading and other things of that sort. It's what has created that whole market share for us, and we're able to profit from the movements and the changes in these currencies. I'm telling you that as they begin to develop national digital currency, that market is going to dramatically shift. Trading platforms are going to dramatically shift to adapt to the new digital currencies, national currencies, and then ultimately, eventually, an international currency that will almost make those trading options obsolete. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I know I'm making some very bold predictions, but I've been there and I've seen it. Please don't get hung up on that, but I'm telling you, I have been there in the future, and I've seen this unfold right before me, right before my very eyes. And I'm here to tell you what I saw. And you don't have to believe it. You can say, oh, he's nuts, he's crazy. Oh, here's another nutty person saying that he looked into the future. Ooh, spooky. Okay. But I hope you save this video or write down what I'm saying so that when it begins to happen, you can come back and say, he said this was going to happen. Okay? Institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, or the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, are researching right now how a unified, interoperable digital currency system could streamline even across border payments. Currencies like Bitcoin sparked the idea of digital currency. When Bitcoin hit the scene, for just about a couple of decades back, it's what sparked this interest and the idea of creating national and then ultimately international digital currency. It decentralizes money. Okay. There are certain stable coins like USDT and USDC that offer a middle ground for being tied to a real world currency. Some global companies are exploring digital currency to facilitate international trade right now as we speak. There are certain companies with a global reach that are exploring the use of digital currencies to facilitate international trades. Some are testing it out even as we speak. Now, I know right now your mind is ticking and you're probably wondering, well, okay, so how will that affect me as an individual? Well, think about now coming into a time where the US dollar or the euro or the yen or any of the other national currencies now have become obsolete and everyone is operating from one singular digital currency. And if everyone across the globe is operating from one singular digital currency, it ties now and merges the economy of the globe. The global economy becomes literally the global economy tied by currency. So that if you fly to China to go and visit, you don't have to do a currency exchange. When you fly to Europe or you go down to a different country to visit, you don't have to go and exchange your money anymore because you'll have the same digital currency in every country across the globe. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Okay? Listen, the timeline for an international digital currency or fully integrated digital currency system depends on how quickly countries and institutions can overcome a few little minor hurdles that they're working to overcome right now. The technological, regulatory, because it's got to be regulated, and that's where the biggest fight is going to come. Who's in charge? Who's going to be running things? Okay. Regulatory as well as political hurdles as well. But they are focused. They are focused, especially in the IMF and the BIS, they are focused on coming up with a solution for these problems so that they are able to pull together these countries to launch an international digital currency. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you embrace it or not, it is coming. And you can try and be a blockbuster in a digital world, but I can tell you it's just simply not going to work for you. So you need to prepare yourself for what is unfolding and what is about to take place in the global economy. There are pilot programs like the BIS Innovation Hub and the IMF Exploration of Global Stablecoins that suggest that international tests are underway right now. I went down the rabbit hole. When I began to see this and I came back to myself in this time period, I began to go down the rabbit hole and do the research and found that the IMF and the BIS were testing the market right now for this international digital currency. They're doing stress tests to see whether or not this is something that is going to be functional and sustainable across the globe. A single international digital currency backed up by multiple nations, like a digital SDR, is the most complex option, but it is a viable option. This development, listen to me carefully, write this one down. Man, I've been on that long already, Credit Day. I am telling you that within the next 15 years, at most 20 years, but definitely within the next 15 years, we will all see the launch of an international digital currency that will tie the global economic community together and bind them together for the foreseeable future. So you need to learn everything that you can about digital currency, about cryptocurrency, even though I think that the final product of the digital currency that they're coming up with is going to be a bit different from what we see right now. These are just the prototypes that are kind of setting the standard for the market that's going to come. Okay, but you need to familiarize yourself with the basics so that you're able to prepare yourself for what is definitely coming. No, it's not going to be a physical mark in your hand or in your head. No, it's not the mark of the beast, even though that which is mentioned in Revelation is not a person, not a thing, it's a system. But that's a whole nother conversation. We'll talk about that on another empowerment session, because there is some truth there. There's some practical principled truth that is there, but it is a system. It needs accurate interpretation. See, imagine what most people don't realize. I'm going to take a moment and just explain this very quickly and then get back to what I'm talking about, is that the book of Revelation is about John, the supposed writer, John, being transported through time travel. See, you believe that John did it, but you can't believe that I did. Okay, never mind. Being transported through time to see events that will unfold in the future. But here's the thing. Here's what most people are not cognizant of, or they're not aware of. They don't think about this. That as John traveled through time into what he would call the future, he only carried with him the vocabulary and the knowledge of the time that he came from. So he saw things in what is, in many cases, in our present and then eventual future that didn't even exist in his time. So he had to use the vocabulary of his time to try and describe what he was seeing in another time. So he uses terms like beasts and locusts and wings and all of these terminologies because they were familiar to the vocabulary of the time, but he was trying desperately to describe things and events that he saw that was in a time period that was thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of years ahead of where he was. And so when he uses a term like, I saw this beast rising up out of the sea, he's not talking about a literal amphibious animal. He's using a terminology that he was familiar with, a vocabulary from his time, to describe something that he was seeing. In one place, he talks about a beast that has these locust feathers that were huge and enormous, bigger than anything he had ever seen. But then it also had a scorpion's tail, and it had the face of a human with these big bulging eyes up front, and it flew through the air. That sounds scary until you realize he's talking about a helicopter. Long tail, long propellers that look like locust feathers, face bulging, eyes out front. That's the hull of the a helicopter flying through the air. But there was no such thing as a helicopter in his time. There was no such word as helicopter in his time. So what did he describe it as? A beast that he saw coming up out of the sea, flying over, and it was stinging. Helicopter with guns. People that were on earth. You see what I mean? Yeah, y'all understand what I'm saying? So you can't look at that and think of it in a literal sense. The whole entire book of Revelation is allegory and figurative, imaginative language used by a person who only had the very limited vocabulary of his time. But when you travel through what we call time, which ultimately is an illusion, but that's another whole nother conversation as well, and is not linear as we think, but spiral, everything happening all at once. Everything that ever will happen is happening right now. That's a whole nother conversation as well. When you travel through time, as it were, and you begin to see what is coming, what is unfolding, you then have to return to the time that you've come and try and find the words to articulate what you've seen. That's what I'm trying to do here with you today by talking about this digital currency and the shift, dramatic shift in the global economy, and how humanity is moved from one state of being to another as a result of the changes that are going to take place. And so I am trying to use the vocabulary of, the 21st century to explain things that I've seen that are going to take place in the next 20 years. And I have not even gotten into what I've seen that's going to unfold over the next 200 to 300 years. Whole nother conversation, but I will get to that eventually. I will. Okay. All right. So I said all of that to say that what I'm saying to you about digital currency, it might sound a little bit foreign and a little complex to you, but take some time, do some digging. Everything that I say to you, I don't expect anyone to take what I say at face value. Do your own research. And you'll find that what I'm saying to you is absolutely 100% verifiably correct. Okay? Y'all don't stop liking now. Come on, I need to get those likes up. Double tap that screen over here on this platform. And those of you watching over here, I need for you to like as well and share. Come on, y'all, help me build, help me build, help me build, help me build. Okay, in these next, what do I have left here? 6-7 minutes. Okay. Now, what could happen to accelerate what we're talking about? Well, number one, the thing that always accelerates innovation in any form is a crisis. And boy, have we got crisis. Boy, have we got our plate filled with crisis. A crisis in the financial and global geopolitics and geopolitical events could push the nations even faster to act toward developing these digital currencies. And boy, do we have crisis. The election of Agent Orange is a geopolitical crisis, international crisis. I'm not getting into, those of you who are Trumpsters and who are like, oh, you're partisan. No, this is not about partisanship. This is about the reality that by bringing him into a position of power where he has already expressed repeatedly his desire to be a dictator, a tyrant, to enact vengeance upon his perceived enemies, has had a ripple effect around the globe. And already global communities and global governments are moving to protect themselves against what they see as an existential threat. That is the administration of Agent Orange. And all you got to do is look at some of his cabinet picks that we've already seen. I mean, Matt Gaetz, really? Uh, d- Lord have mercy. And some people say that that's just a distraction, that he never intends for him to actually be Attorney General. I think he does, but we'll see. But what you need to pay attention to, especially those of you here in the United States, but around the globe as well, you need to pay more attention to. I know we're really worried about the Attorney General and national security and national intelligence and the Defense Department and our UN ambassador to the United Nations and all of these things. But what you need to really pay attention to, and he has yet to announce, because I believe he's going to try and make sure he slides this one under the radar, is the person who's going to be in charge of the Treasury Department. That's what has the entire global community holding its breath. Who's going to be in charge of Treasury? Who's going to be in charge of the Treasury Department? Pay attention to that, because that decision and choice is going to send ripple effects throughout the global community, and it is going to drastically again shift how other governments deal with the United States. That's going to be like a flashing red light to what his intentions are, and ultimately then what will be the United States' intention about the global economic system. Pay close attention to who he selects to run the Treasury Department. Okay? And I can tell you also that he is going to try his best to move out the Fed chair and appoint a new Federal Reserve chair. Now, his term is not up, and it will be a huge lift to try and force him out. But I absolutely expect, and you can anticipate, that he will try and move the Fed chair out of position to put his hand-picked crony there, which will further accelerate what happens in the global community and the global economy. You can expect it. I'm telling you, things are changing quickly. People here in the United States are all in a tizzy and in an uproar, and I'm here to tell you, you haven't seen anything yet. You haven't seen anything yet. This is just November. But when these people officially take office, you're going to see dramatic change take place, not for the better. It will be for the better for those who are wealthy, those who are operating corporations. It will be for their better for a little while. And please understand what I just said, for a little while. It's not going to be as wonderful as they think in the long term. Because as the rest of the community and the rest of society begins to shrink and sink, then so will their profits and so will their corporations, and then they'll be ready to do pushback. But by that time, it'll be too late. He will have already entrenched himself in the seat of power. That's a fact. I'm telling you. I've already seen it. I'm telling you what's getting ready to unfold. You can mark it down, you can write it down, and you can bet your bottom dollar. Okay, as Don Cornelius used to say. You can bet. Some of y'all don't know who Don Cornelius is. Soul Train. Come on, youngins. Google Soul Train. Don Cornelius, Godfather. But anyway, you can see this happen. Okay? We also have to be concerned about the geopolitical competition that's going to take place. That's taking place now, but that's about to explode and expand. This is going to accelerate the time toward international digital currency. Currency manipulators like China are going to make aggressive moves because they think they have the tacit endorsement of the United States. And as a result of doing so, it's going to accelerate the time of this international digital currency taking place, because it's going to be viewed as necessary to stabilize the global economy. But it's really just a doorway in for this technology to take place. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? I hope you do. So, what might happen? A truly international digital currency will probably emerge from collaboration between countries and global institutions, functioning as a neutral payment tool and for trade and finances. Alternatively, interconnected national digital currencies will serve the same global purpose under a global regulatory board. This shift, while right now is in the research stage and the pilot and testing stage, could see its emergence within the next 5 to 10 years, its full entrenchment within 15 to 20 years. And you need to be ready for it. Now, there are a whole list of other things that you need to do, I believe, that you need to do individually to prepare, especially those of you who are here in the United States, to prepare for the years that are to come. And everyone's saying for the next 4 years. I think you got to worry about this for the next 15 to 20 years, 30 years that you need to be prepared for. And I have given a list of those things that you need to do to prepare in the partner portal. Those who have partnered with the Emerge movement are a part of our very private partner portal, a Facebook group. I said the name right there. But okay, anyway, a private group on the Facebook platform. So when you partner with Emerge, then you have access to the portal and you can find out those lists of things that you need to do to adequately prepare yourself for what is unfolding right now in front of us. Ladies and gentlemen, there are some very important steps that you can take. And so I invite you to become a partner with the Emerge movement as soon as possible. How do you become a partner? You simply request an information packet at our email address, emerge.lifecenter@gmail.com. emerge.lifecenter@gmail.com. Send me an email requesting an information packet. I'll send that information out to you, and after you've had a chance to peruse it and digest it, there is a partnership agreement in there enclosed in the packet. Simply sign that partnership agreement and send it back to me, and I'll send you a link to our private partner portal where you'll have access to all of the information, both written and video, that I am unable to share on these particular platforms. So consider becoming a partner with the Emerge movement. Do that today. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of today's broadcast. And thank you for those of you who gave me the likes, as well as those of you who on the other platforms liked and shared and tagged. I appreciate your support and your participation. I'm going to ask every one of you that are watching right now to take opportunity to share a gift, a monetary gift, in support of this platform, in whatever amount that you choose to give. For those of you that are watching here, It's already written in the description. You can use our CashApp $emergelec to send whatever gift of any size that you'd like to give in support of this platform. For those of you who are watching me on the other platforms over here, please know that you have multiple options of ways that you can give that I'm putting on the screen right now. You can use our Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and Venmo. All of the information that you need is on the screen. I am asking every one of you who see the value and the worth of what you are receiving across these platforms to contribute in some way, whether large or small. If it's $1 or $1,000 or $100,000, I'm asking you to contribute at whatever level that you are able to do so to help us to be able to continue to build this platform and to reach out to the masses with information, insight, encouragement, inspiration, and empowerment. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all next week at this same time, 9 a.m. Sunday morning. Please hold me in your thoughts and prayers. Send out some good energy. I'm about to get on the road and take a little bit of a journey. So pray for my safe travel as I go about my way. I love you. I appreciate you. Have the absolute best day ever. Wrong one.
Some of you are even afraid to dream, afraid to imagine. But I'm here to tell you that you are an infinite, limitless, boundless being. Are you willing to do what is necessary to have what you desire?
You've been listening to Apostle Isaac Miles, the disruptive innovator, a mentor, an author, a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur, and the founder and spiritual director at emergelec Life Enrichment Center. Please take a minute to subscribe, like, and share this page. If you'd like to become a partner, you can do so by emailing us at emerge.lifecenter@gmail.com. Again, that's emerge.lifecenter@gmail.com. Once again, thank you for watching.